No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. Welcome to the Triple P, the Perfect Play Pursuit. We are back. We are live on YouTube. New beginnings, new horizons. The show will now be recorded live. Interact with us, chat with us. We're here to break down Kape versus Almabayev. UFC Vegas 103, full card, top to bottom. But first, let's check in with Alex. Let's check in with Dan on how they did with UFC Seattle. Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. A lot to talk about, a lot to get into from last week's card. A few different things happening could have resulted in a big night, but obviously we are here hat in hand. The show continues into year 5, and we have a lot of work to do. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And I'm going to take one bite this weekend. I'm going to take one bite next weekend. And you guys know, I was up $4,000. I was down $1,600. I've hit a new record. I'm lower than I've ever been, but I will only rise higher than I've ever been. I am due. It is my destiny. We will finish strong. I have a plan. Trust in me. If you can't trust in me, they say faith without works is dead. And you've seen my works. You've seen me down $1,600, only to come up well above plus $1,600, a $3,200 swing in just 2 events. So we play big, we win big, we lose big. Here we are. I'm not coming in here Ian Parker style. I'm not coming in here UFC best bets, the worst show you could possibly watch. I'm not coming in here Ian Parker saying it's a bounce back week. It's not a bounce back week. It's an everyday war. It's an everyday fucking battle. And we're here to win, or it's feast or fucking feathers in my world. Okay. I have 2 kids. I'm married. I come in here with I pay my bills. I pay my baby, my wife. I almost said baby mama, a little bit there, but I pay my wife, pay my bills. I buy the diapers, and with whatever is left, I say, this is what we have to work with. And some weeks it's a little, some weeks it's a lot, but ultimately it's like a war. You lose soldiers, you lose resources, but then you rally the troops. It's always darkest before the dawn, and the dawn is upon us. Halo 3. What do they say in Halo 3, Alex? It's like dawn uprising. Something to do with Halo 3. Guys, it's Master Chief. It's Gears of War. It's fucking it's our destiny, and we're here to win big over the next few weeks. This card, I'll be honest with you, this is a Kape versus Almabayev. It's a card where it leaves a lot to be desired from a betting standpoint. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to find our shots here and there, but I'm looking at next week. I'm looking at the week after. I'm looking at April. I'm looking at March. I'm looking at early May, and then that's when we really strike. That's when we really thrive. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show Alex, the Euro Under King, Dan, the Batman. Alex, what's going on, my brother? How you didn't watch the card this weekend? You were at a retirement party. You were watching magicians. You were doing other things. Well, what's going on in your world? I'm happy to bring you up to speed on all that happened last week. But from a betting standpoint, where did you succeed? Where did you fail? I know you had some great underdog picks. You had Rob Font. You did a lot well, but where did you fall short?
Yeah, well, I got the first 3 fights incorrect, but all picks I wasn't very heavy on at all. And then where I really went wrong was on the main event. The main event really killed me. I had a lot of a lot in the air at that point. And Andre Touchy-Feely also messed me up a little bit, but other than that, man, it was just the main event. The main event got me all mad, and that was the only fight that I watched all evening.
Dan, what about you? You texted us in the group chat. You said, this is the last week of me living life as a brokey. This is the last week of me not ensuring essentially generational wealth for me and mine. And I loved it. I mean, to be honest, it's like whether something is real or something is imaginary, your brain doesn't know the difference. And I believed that you were imagining into existence this miraculous payout for yourself. And I tailed a lot of your picks as a result. And boy, did they not go well. I mean, not even close. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was looking at your open bet sheet after just a few fights, and it was completely blank. You had basically fallen short so tremendously this week. So tell us what happened and where you went wrong and what you would do different.
Well, right off the bat, I had this master plan. First fight of the evening, you got Modestas Bukauskas versus the other guy, Serrari, or whatever his name is. Knockout artist on the Brazilian side, and a decision machine from Modestas Bukauskas. So for a couple, I had the Brazilian gentleman, and then for a couple, I had the over 1.5. And I thought that really covered my bases there. Little did I know that Bukauskas has some hands, and the Brazilian opponent doesn't have much of a chin. So, me 5 years ago watching that fight, be like, oh my God, this could be an amazing card. What a great knockout. Me, as of a couple days ago, said this is going to be the worst night of my life, and that's what it was. Gordon Gecko once said, greed is good. No, greed is not good. And it killed me in the fact that I had, Melsik the Gun Bagdasarian at plus 400, whatever it was, in many parlays. Now, granted, not many of them made it that far, but in hindsight, that was also very foolish. And I let the greed get the best of me. I won't let that happen again. I have a new mantra now, which is almost every UFC card has 3 underdogs. 3. 3 is the magic number. That's the number I'm going to stick to. All right. I had a couple with Ricky Simone. I had a couple with, help me out here, fellas. What were some of the other dogs on that card? Rob Font. And then there was one other one. Okay. So that's the magic number here. I have 3 dogs for this coming weekend. Is it a terrible on paper? Yes, it is a terrible card. But that's from the entertainment point of view, not the gambling point of view. I completely disagree. I see another 100 grand in my sight on this card. And instead of spreading it out thin and hoping that maybe a plus 400 will come through, I'm just going to stick with a one shot, one opportunity, one big parlay, banking on a perfect parlay, if you will, putting all my eggs in that basket because I am pretty darn confident. I have 3 solid dogs here. The rest, the favorites, they will shine through as they normally do, based on their favorite status, and we will get this thing done and start it off right.
You really actually picked you picked Rob Font, you picked Ian Cutelaba. Alex, you picked Rob Font, you picked Ian Cutelaba, and you picked Ricky Simone. You picked every underdog that won that night. I picked Ricky Simone. That was the only underdog play that I we in hindsight, it's like, okay, we know that every time Ian Cutelaba has fought, I've been on the wrong side of it. I've bet him when he's lost. I've faded him when he's won. I think maybe except the last time he fought before this one against the newcomer, right? Other than that, I'm pretty much fade me when it comes to Ian Cutelaba. Now, Ricky Simone, I wish that I had been more confident in Ricky. I mean, I bet him on some parlays, but I wish that I just had been like, no, because hometown guy, seasoned vet, little muscle shark. Like if Sean Shark was reincarnated, it'd be Ricky Simone. I mean, and Basharat is just a frail, thin, skinny little bitch, and he got knocked the fuck out. His eyes were rolling back into his head. I wish I could have enjoyed that more. I wish I had a solo play on Simone by knockout at plus 1100, right? I mean, that would have been an amazing play. I don't know. Other than that, my night, I came on here. I picked Austin Vanderford. You both talked me out of it. And Veretennikov wasn't even in that fight for a second. He looked like a complete scrub. The protest was shameful. These Russians are terrible losers, which I generally like, right? Like I want a guy to care. I want a guy, but care in that you don't leave yourself in a fetal position eating strikes, right? Like I'm not saying it was the best stoppage in the world, but I'm just saying like he wasn't trying to get up. He was just trying to block shots with one arm pinned and getting pounded on. So shout out to Austin Vanderford. Should have stuck with you. Shouldn't have gotten tricked into picking him, Veretennikov, by these two. But what I should have done was realize that I always am wrong on Ian Cutelaba and gone with you two. So that would have been a flip there. I would have trophy certified Ian Kusalaba. I would have prevented Veretennikov from being trophy certified. John Silva, I love it. I love this guy. I love watching him fight. I picked him, but ultimately the line was unbettable. Now, for me, everything would have been fine if Julius Walker would have gotten the nod. I thought it was kind of a shitty decision. I kind of thought I mean, look, people will say, oh, well, Menifield landed the more power shots. A lot of those were glancing off the arms. A lot of those were in a 5-second clip of the fight. Both guys were tired. Julius Walker really, it just goes to show this isn't 2005 UFC anymore where cage control can win a fight like that. Because if this were 2005 through 2012 UFC, Julius Walker is winning that fight every single time. He had the cage control. He was landing great knees to the body up against the fence. He was honestly, he was piecing Walker up a good amount, or Menifield up a good amount at times. But Menifield would get these little spurts off, and Walker had bad body language, right? And you kind of learn to expect this from a basketball player. A basketball player is not going to have good body language. These guys are always pleading to the refs in their games, flopping on fouls. Ultimately, just like it's not 2005 UFC, it's not 1993, 1999 NBA. It's a modern era, and these basketball players are soft. You got to remember, basketball is played out during the same season as wrestling. So if these guys decided to do basketball instead of wrestling, you see it right there. Soft hearts, soft people. I've always said basketball players are some of the softest people, but honestly, football players are pretty soft too. So, short clips, constant whistle blowing, constant going back to the bench, not having to play every down. You don't get a lot of who's the guy on your team, Alex, Colorado. You don't get a lot of
Travis Hunters.
You don't get a lot of Travis Hunters these days. So point is, I personally thought Julius Walker should have gotten the nod. I really would have loved to that would have made my night in a lot of ways. It is what it is, and I can't change the past. The fight I was most disappointed in, I will say, was Anthony Hernandez versus Brandon Allen. That was pathetic. I mean, that was not mixed martial arts. That was not the Hernandez we've seen through the last few fights. Hernandez has had some really deadly ground and pound. He was flopping around on there, wrestling around, rolling around like we were watching I don't know, something off of Pornhub. I mean, this was like two guys making love to each other. This was not I personally, for the novelty factor, I would have rather watched two guys make love to each other. This was just like a jiu-jitsu match. This was he wasn't hitting him hard, he wasn't pounding on him. They were scrambling, they were sacrificing positions. Hernandez would jump on the back, he would get shaken off. I mean, it was real sad, real pathetic. I expect this from Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's lowest IQ fighter in the UFC. Brendan Allen, he's always gonna. I mean, let's think about it. The most obvious thing that we could have predicted happening was Brendan Allen comes out within the first 10 seconds of the fight, has tremendous striking and is piecing Hernandez up, and then completely flops that and sacrifices that and ends up on his back somehow. I mean, the guy has no fight IQ. Hernandez apparently had like a fucking antibiotics or.
I was gonna say, do you lend that any justification, any credence?
You know what, Dan? I'll forgive that if you let me know fucking beforehand. Let me know beforehand. I mean,
why would he do that though?
What does it change? What is it? What is Allen gonna fight harder, knowing that his opponent is competent? No, it doesn't change shit. Allen's gonna fight just as hard. If anything, letting your opponent know beforehand, yeah, I'm coming into this fight weak. That's the element of surprise. That's the most important element in the art of war. Sun Tzu's art of war is the element of surprise. You say, yeah, I'm actually like super sick. Now your opponent's like, oh shit, this is going to be easy. Then he finds himself in a fight harder than he thought it was going to be. He loses anyway. But either way, Brendan Allen couldn't even get it done anyway. I picked Hernandez, but I just would have loved to see Hernandez get more offense off and treat Brendan Allen how Sean Strickland treated him, how Chris Curtis treated him. I mean, I would have loved for him to finish Brendan Allen. 2 fights now he's had with Brendan Allen. It went to decision both times. Tells me more about Hernandez than it does about Allen. I already have my opinion about Allen, but now I'm thinking Hernandez isn't going to beat Almabayev. Hernandez isn't going to beat Adesanya. Hernandez isn't going to beat any of the top level contenders, and he's going to remain a journeyman I was high on him before this fight after seeing what he did to Michel Pereira, after seeing what he did to Roman Kopylov. I was very high on him, but ultimately now I'm his stock went down in my eyes. So other than that, Andre Fili, you train with Team Alpha Male, you get caught in a guillotine that you yourself shot into. Shameful. The other point I'll make is Ricky Simone, star of the show, obviously, but Nick Klein, I mean, biggest underdog on the card. I picked him. I thought this is crazy. He almost knocked out Abdul Malik in the first round. He caught him, chinned him. The only mistake he made was he went to grapple after that instead of just doing what Malik did to him when he chinned him in the later rounds, is swarm on him, make the ref react and stop the fight. He should have just kept the pressure with the striking. He should have just pounded on him. Instead, he tried to secure position and get a submission. I liked Nick Klein just from a betting perspective. 10-1 by finish. He's a finisher. Almost cashed that. John Masamuto, silly goose, should have grappled, failed to do so in any meaningful way, lost the decision. Rob Font by decision was like 10-1. Ricky Simone by knockout was like 10-1. You add in a little Ian Cutelaba there. You add in a little what's his name? Austin Vanderford. That 4-leg parlay right there is bringing you home. It's bringing you unforeseen riches. So this wasn't a bad card from a betting perspective. You just had to be on the right side of things. Last thing I'll say, Henry Cejudo, absolutely shameful. He did exactly what Colby Covington essentially did with the Buckley fight. You got two guys, Covington and Cejudo, same exact point in their career, same exact mindset now. Wrestlers who don't wrestle, main event guys who fall short and can't secure the bag in terms of advancing themselves in the division. They remain popular main event fighters, but they don't advance in the division, and they're here to get a paycheck. And Cejudo ultimately, so let's say, Alec, so we all watch this fight. Cejudo stays on his ass after the 5 minutes go by. They start the fight anyway, even though the 5 minutes had passed. Then he quits on his stool, essentially, and then absolutely corrupt Jason Herzog starts the round, stops the round, gets the eye checked, and it ends in a technical decision for Yadong. We've seen this happen with Romanov versus Juan Espino. It really should have been a no contest. Really, it should have been a KO for Song, because he should have just continued to put a fucking ass whooping on Cejudo and finished him. Cejudo should have fought on. He literally said to Bisping after, Bisping, me and you are about to be brothers. Hey, Cejudo, Bisping fought with one eye. That's why you guys aren't brothers. Bisping fought with one eye. So you quit on your stool. And made and didn't even quit in a way that would have gotten you at least a no contest, if not maybe a disqualification. You quit in a way that lost you the fight. So the only thing you saved yourself from, Cejudo, was a fucking knockout from further embarrassment. And it's honestly equal embarrassment that you did that. Who cares? People go, oh, was his eye not compromised? Bad either way. You know what I say? Bad either way. If you're seeing double out of one eye, hey, ever thought of this? Close that fucking eye. Keep fighting. You still have one good eye. Who gives a fuck? You knew which way the wind was blowing. And honestly, I kind of thought the wind was blowing in Henry's direction. Song was wearing some damage on his face. Henry was actually getting closer to him. So really, you robbed yourself. You only are cheating yourself at the end of the day. You only cheated yourself out of a possible heroic come from behind victory. I thought Song won every single fucking round. I don't think Henry won a single round. I thought Song's too big for him. Cejudo wasn't closing the distance. He was unable to wrestle. There's so many things wrong with Henry Cejudo's performance. From you're an Olympic level wrestler wrestling against a guy who is not from a country not competitive in the Olympics, who has not wrestled at your level, and you can't take him down or even get close, right? That's number one. Number two, Henry, you're apparently this great mastermind, great striker. It's not like Song is fucking Alex Pereira. You know what I mean? Close the distance and knock this bitch out. Can't do that. And third, you quit. You quit because one eye is maybe possibly damaged. I'm going to be the one to say, I don't care if it was damaged. I don't care if it wasn't damaged. You should have fought on. And that's that. I mean, DC versus Stipe. DC in the fucking post-fight interview, his eyes fucking wonky as shit. And he fought on in a fight he knew he was going to retire after. In a fight he knew he was losing. And he still fought Stipe to a fucking decision because that's what a competitive American Olympian wrestler does. These people are making wrestling look real bad. They're making wrestling look like a bunch of... I mean, you get poked in the eye in a wrestling match. What do? Do you do that? No. You fucking wrestle on. You fight on. Henry should have fought on. Sad, shameful. I've said enough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily feel that way. I think that I thought that there was a case that Henry could have won the fight up to that point. I thought that with the criteria of the scoring,
that's your takeaway?
I thought maybe it was good gamesmanship. I thought that maybe we might get this decision and Henry Cejudo is sitting there like, I'm a fucking genius. But that being said, one judge scored it 30-27. So I do hate Jason Herzog. I will never support Jason Herzog again. He used to be one of my favorite refs, but he's out for me. All these refs, I hate, they always want to turn it into a ref show. They always want to turn it into a judge show. The commission wants so much attention. Get them out of here. Let the public opinion be who scores the fight, because I'm absolutely sick of the commission. Jason Herzog should be looked into. That was so weird that they oh hell yeah, brother. Right on, Jay Hackett, brother.
Jay Hackett, what up?
Stir up the boys. But yeah, man. Jason Herzog should be looked into. Federal investigation. Same type of scrutiny that James Krause was under. I want all the microscopes on him. This is unbearable. The fact that he stopped the fight, told Henry, I'm just going to start the round and then, we're going to pull the curtain. Why? Why are you making that decision? Why are you making the decision to take yourself, like, you don't want to be the guy to do the DQ or the no contest? You don't want to be the guy to make that decision? So you're like, all right, fuck it. We'll just throw him to the judges. We'll see who won. I mean, Henry's calling for a rematch. It must have been a bad eye poke. I saw the pictures of the eye poke. It looked pretty bad. I don't think
he goes, I had dysplasia. I had glaucoma. He like wants to reference the medical terminology. It's like, Henry, you get a fucking bruise, they'll call it a contusion, my friend. You can always dress it up with medical jargon and make it seem like it's more than it was. You got poked in the eye. Like your eyes are parasympathetic, meaning you get poked in one. If it's bad,
he got poked in both.
He got poked in one.
He got poked in both of his eyes.
He got kicked in the nuts and he got poked in his eye. Now, listen, if you want to have the conversation around, do you take a point away on first infraction? I'm all for it. I mean, I think, put it this way. How about this? You get one free foul, whether it is a nut shot or an eye poke. You don't get a nut shot and an eye poke.
Point deduction.
I think there needs to be more.
Foul. And by the way, the funny thing is they go, well, it would have been a this if it was determined that it was intentional. So the ref is supposed to protect the fighters. He's supposed to keep track of the time. He's supposed to penalize for stalling and listen to the crowd if they're booing. And he's also supposed to have a deep understanding of a man's intentions in there. That is silly as fuck. Like, the ref, you can't determine intent. How about this? Jim Miller. I sent you the video Jim Miller has posted where it's like, guys, it's not hard to close your fucking hands in the gloves. These eye pokes come when their fingers are out like this. It's on purpose. It's Bruce Lee's favorite tactic. I get the boxing ball. You guys have seen me on my boxing ball. I practice eye poking the boxing ball. It's a very intentional practice, right? So
very Stoogian of you.
If you're poking in the eyes, you're doing it on purpose. And if it's an accident, hey, real fucking bad accident, point. Like, I'm sorry.
If I hit somebody with my car and they die, whether it is on accident or on purpose, I will have some type of jail
No,
time.
that's different. That's manslaughter versus murder.
Manslaughter, you can still go to jail, my friend.
For sure. And that's a good point then.
I'm
So
having
like,
some type of penalty regardless. If somebody dies when I get into a car accident, whether it's an accident or on purpose, whether my intent was to hit that person with my car or my intent was to swerve out of the way, regardless, if they die, I have some type of penalty if it was my fault. And it was his fault that he poked him in the eye. It was no one else's fault. Henry Cejudo wasn't going in there with his eyes all crazy like the girl from fucking Orange is the New Black, okay?
and by the way, in the Hernandez fight, he knuckles Allen in the eye. Allen calls his own foul, and then you show the replay, and it was a fucking knuckle. To me, that's a TKO.
Over.
TKO. You can't call your own fouls. You can't get knuckled in the eye, and then the fight gets stopped. That killed all the momentum. You get punched in the eye. That's his time to capitalize. That's when he rushes in for the finish. So I think it's bullshit. I think your first warning's in the back. The second warning usually comes when your fingers are outstretched during the fight. And then you poke him in the eye. That's strike 3 right there. And even if a warning hasn't been given during the fight, if you poke him in the eye the first time, right? If the fighter has
first warning's in the back room for one.
Yeah. Look, I'm down with 1 foul per fight. You can get 1 free foul, whether it's a nut shot, an eye poke, hell, a knee to the fucking head. But other than that, if the fighter can continue after that first foul and you foul them again, it's a point. Sorry. Like
I'd like to see points taken from even if the foul isn't committed, but the fingers are extended.
Here's the kicker,
you
right?
get drunk driving not because you actually hit someone, but because you could.
And here's the kicker.
With the car accident.
If you can't still win a round after fouling a guy multiple times, right? So let's say, in theory, Song kicks him in the nuts during that round, pokes him in the eye during that round, right? Gets the point taken away. If he wins the round, it's a tie. That's fair. If Henry can continue, that's fair. If you can't win a round, meaning he wins the round and you poked him in the eye and kicked him in the nuts, guess what? You deserve to lose that round 10-8. You got 2 fucking illegal shots on the guy and he still whooped your ass in the round. You deserve it to be a 10-8. So and if you can't win the first and the third to make it a tie, you deserve to lose. It's simple as that. Or if you win the first and the third and you get a 10-8 in the second because you fouled him twice, it deserves to be a tie. Simple as that. We're getting asked, Luke, what new conspiracy should I put my eyes on? Look, I'm very interested right now, and I've been interested, obviously, for a long time. Project Blue Beam, Operation Blue Beam, the fake alien invasion. We're getting fed all this alien stuff. I think it's only a matter of time before they send one of these fake flying saucers that they've had since the 50s into our, homestead, into our homeland, and these things do some EMP style blast, and they disable all these electric cars. I mean, they're showing you. They show you what they are looking to do right in front of you. They want everybody to be on electric cars. They want everybody to have smart homes. They want everybody to be skillless idiots in America using ChatGPT and all this sort of thing, not learning about, how I can fix a carburetor, how I can grow my own food, how I can do this. They want you to be dependent on technology so that they can create a massive technological meltdown, and then shit's going to get real scary. So you got to buy generators, you got to store gas underground. You got to put these things in Faraday bags so that when the EMP does happen, your stuff's protected. Got to get some solar panels. You got to get some backup batteries. Got to get a water source, water filtration. You got to get a garden. Got to get chickens. Got to get goats. Simple as that. Elon Musk, the Antichrist. Look, I love what Elon's doing with Doge. I love what Elon's doing with the Department of Government Efficiency. I'm a libertarian. I hate the government. I hope that Elon fires all of them. And, he sent that email out. He said, hey, send me 5 things you've done in the past week. Guys, I was on PTO. I just had a fucking new baby. I was on PTO last week. I could tell you 5 things I did for my job. I mean, let's be real. Like, if you can't report 5 things you're doing, you deserve to be fired. And as far as the people saying, oh, what about the CIA? What about the fucking, it's not like they can tell Elon, yeah, well, I did a coup in Cambodia. Hey, maybe no coups in Cambodia. How about that? Maybe he's fucking mind your business. Stay in our own country. You know, you're gonna do a coup. Do it in your own backyard. But you know, other than that, it's like you're a CIA agent. You you use a little bit of describe. You can't be like, I sent an email. I whatever. It's like you should have 5 things. I'm all for it. Elon, fire these motherfuckers. Give me the money. I want my 5,000. I'm gonna bet it on little foreshadowing for you. I'm gonna bet it on my 5,000. I'll bet it on Diego Lopes versus Volkanovski because Diego Lopes can do anything. So shout out to Hackett, a Wolverine. We appreciate you in the chat. So look, I think we touched on this card as much as we can. Let's get into the next card. Not much more I have to say about it. You know, Manel Kape versus Almabayev. Again, you know, this is a card where I have a good play, but when you hear it, you're going to be like, Luke, don't do this to me.
Oh,
Luke,
I know what it is, and I'm all aboard. I'm
So-
all on board with it.
We'll start out at the bottom. We'll start with Charles Johnson. Charles Bird Johnson taking on Ramazan Tamarov. Flyweight matchup, guys. Johnson coming off a 4-fight win streak. Very impressive work by Charles Johnson. Knocked out Joshua Van, beat Jake Hadley. Won his last fight 4 months ago against Sumaderji. A lot of people fading this guy coming in as an underdog a lot. Starting to get some respect with the line, but still a plus 100 dog in a pick'em situation. Ramazan Tamarov, he's coming off a same timeline 4 months ago. Knocked out CJ Vergara, who is really not impressed very much. Other than that, his experience is in Ryzen, right? So the thing I hate about this fight from a Johnson side is the age. 34 years old at 125. Not a good look. He's going to be 6 years older than his opponent. Not a good look. From a betting perspective, you look at the stats, you're trying to be an actuarial scientist. You got a guy who's in a, you know, pretty much a 70% losing situation being this much older at this weight class. So, however, he is going to be taller. He is going to be longer. I believe he's got a better strength of schedule. I believe he's got much better UFC experience. I believe Ryzen's a whole different ball game. So a lot of me wants to go with Charles Johnson here. I'm interested to hear what you guys say. Tapology is 55% on Johnson, 45% on Tamarov. I kind of like Charles Johnson here. I think that he's a dog. He can wrestle. He can strike. I think that if Tamarov does win, it's kind of a grindy, boring, hold him against the cage. I don't think he comes in here and gets a knockout. So what I'll say is it seems like Tamarov is a knockout guy. I like the over. I think at 125, you might get a rare over 1.5 in this fight. I think that's an all day
That wouldn't
play.
be rare at 125.
No, over one. Oh yeah, it would, no, exactly. No, you're right. Sorry, I'm sorry. I think that you would
Get the opportunity to bet
an opportunity
over 1.5.
to
Oh,
get
I
an
see,
over
I see.
1.5 real safely. Like they'll line it at 1.5. It won't be, you know, if it's over 2.5, I still kind of like it, depending on what the line is, right? If it's plus 145, plus 165 at over 2.5, I kind of like it. I think this fight goes to decision. I think Tamarov can secure some advantageous positions, but I think Johnson's going to be in the fight. It's kind of like Will Johnson's Cinderella story come to an end, 4-fight win streak, older guy in the young man's weight class. But I'm going to tentatively go with Johnson. Moreover, I'm going to think that Johnson fights better than folks might expect and that it goes to a close decision. But I'll take Charles Johnson. I don't see him getting knocked out here, put it that way. And it seems like that's this guy's path to victory. It seems like he's had a really lackluster level of competition prior to getting into the UFC. I mean, yeah, I'm going to go with Charles Johnson. Even in the UFC, CJ Vergara hasn't really impressed. You know, I don't even know if he's in the UFC anymore. But yeah, give me Charles Johnson.
I'm going to take Ramzan Tamarov here. I'm a big Charles Johnson guy, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get this one done. He never really impresses me. He doesn't blow me out of my socks when he wins, Charles Johnson. It's usually a pretty tit for tat fight. I'm going to go with Ramazan. Although you're saying that, he's a knockout guy, he's got a lot of good ground and pound. And I think if he lands one on Charles Johnson, like you said, Charles Johnson's old for the division. If he gets hit with the right one, he's probably cutting a lot of weight. He's like 5'9" at 125. That's that's on the taller end at 125. So I'm going to go with Ramzan. I think he could put him away. I wouldn't necessarily be in love with an over 2.5. I think maybe an over 1.5, but I've been getting burnt on those regardless of the weight class. So I'm just going to take the favorite on this one and take Temirov. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going to roll with Johnson here. I'm not crazy about it, but the money is coming in on him. Like I said, I'm going to be all about the favorites and taking a lot of stock in that, except for the Magic 3. Hold on one second.
Thank you, Justin. I don't know if you're talking about me or Alex, and I don't know where the Alpha Dog movie came into play, except maybe is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
That is the one with Justin Timberlake, I believe. Alpha Dogs.
Am I thinking of Four Brothers?
I think Justin Timberlake might also be in that as well. But he is in Alpha Dogs for sure, I believe.
Justin, let us know what you're thinking. Do you agree with me, Charles Johnson? Do you agree with Alex?
I thought he was referring to my dog that was barking, which is why I had to get up and close that.
No. Charles Johnson looks like one of the actors, I'm guessing. Oh, Alex. He loves your take, Alex. You look like one of the actors in Alpha Dog. Let's see if I can find a picture of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, I'll finish up my pick here. I like Johnson, and I like the play for the over. I think it'll be at 2.5, but I doubt it's going to be at plus money. I think it'll be like minus 200 or something like that, which I still think there's some value there. So I like the over more than the money line on either side. I'll take Johnson. I'll go with where the people are going with this. And again, the money is going towards Johnson. And look, the guy's coming off of 4 straight wins. He's beating grapplers. He's beating strikers. Like, is this guy a better striker than Josh Van? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, especially with his, as you guys alluded to, his Ryzen experience and who he was fighting over there. So, yeah, it could be Johnson here. Not crazy about it, but
he could be Alex. He could be talking about Justin Timberlake. He could, but I think he's talking about Emil Hirsch. Either way,
I get that. I've gotten that before, so that's what I assumed as well. I'll take it as a compliment. I think Emil Hirsch is an attractive man. And even if it is Justin Timberlake, I'll take that as well.
No, it's definitely Emil Hirsch, and I love Emil Hirsch. I mean, that's J-Boy in Lords of Dogtown.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
The girl next door, right? That
girl next door.
Emil Hirsch, honestly, is one of the greatest actors that has never gotten his due. I love Emil Hirsch. I wish he was in more movies. Big Emil Hirsch guy over here. Love Lords of Dogtown, one of my favorite movies. Okay.
Lone Survivor. He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Luke, he's been in a bunch of movies. I think he's got his.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
He was in the movie where about that guy that lived in a van and just died.
Where the Wild Things are.
That was a good one.
Into the Wild. That's what it is.
Oh, you're good looking. That little sussy bull, but I like it.
Well, I blushed, so I'm just as sussy apparently as well, I guess.
Thank you, Justin. We appreciate it, but
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Sorry, I mean, listen, you think Alex is good looking? I got news for you.
Bangkok ready.
All right, so who did you even take? I was too busy Googling.
Charles Johnson, emphatically.
Okay, emphatically. So next pick, I'm gonna go first. Got to take a leak here. I'll let you guys take it away after me, and then you can break down the next one first, and I'll come in last. Montana de la Rosa, Montana of the Roses, and Luana Dread Carolina. It's a lady fight. These ladies,
When it comes to the wrestling, when it comes to them getting in the wrestling ring, there's nothing up there. They're all oatmeal north of the eyebrows. They're all, we Tina for brains. You know what I mean?
These ladies don't have the best fight IQ. They get surprised a lot in fights. Element of surprise, most powerful element in the art of war. I'm taking Luana Carolina. I just think Montana De La Rosa, she's too frail, too thin, too skinny. Little twig out there, and I think Dredd is going to be able to get a hold of her, get her to the ground, bully her, so to speak. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dredd comes in there and just eats 1,000 jabs and half of them missing her, and Montana going and half of them are missing, but she's just unable to close the distance. They're both the same age. They're both plus 30. Ultimately, I'm going to side with Carolina. You want to have a good take in this fight because you're getting close to pick 'em odds on either side. So, it's one of those ones where you put 2 or 3 of these closely lined fights together and get the right outcome. You're looking at a great parlay. But my mother always told me you don't bet on lady fights. You don't bet on the women fights. You stick to tried and true men getting in there and getting sloppy with each other. So I'm personally going to go with Luana Carolina, but it's don't hold me to it. So
not the overdraft your bank account fight of the night for me either. I'm going to side with Lukey here. Luana, South Carolina. I think that she has more ways to get this done. She's going to be a little longer in there. So, I mean, maybe there have been plenty of lady fights won by shadow boxing and making noise, to Luke's point. But I got to go with Luana on this one. I just think she's far better than Mountain of the Roses. Dan, what do you think? Okay. Guess Dan doesn't think anything. Guess it's the one-man show now. I guess I'll take you through the next fight then. Lucas Almeida versus Danny Silva. I'll be honest, guys. I didn't really do my homework this week. I had a lot going on. I wasn't really focused on this. I'm going on vacation in a couple days, so I'm not necessarily I'm not going to watch these fights either. Like, you don't throw this card on when you're hanging out with your girlfriend's family. This is not, Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards. You can't be watching something like this. Then they'll know that you're an absolute degenerate. If you have Luana Carolina versus Mountain of the Roses on the television for 2 seconds, they know you're an absolute degenerate. They say, who are these people? How much money do you have on it? I don't want to tell you because no one knows who either of these two people are. And now I have to tell you that I have $100 on Luana Carolina. I can't be bothered by this. Not going to really watch it. Like I said, Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. I don't know whether to make heads or tails of this one. I was actually looking forward to what the boys had to say. I really wanted to hear their opinion on this one. I got a lot of respect for Josh Culibao, and Silva missed weight on his last fight. So if he does that again, he's going to have a little bit of an advantage. At least one of these guys don't suck themselves dry to make a fight. Who cares? Weigh in heavier. Lose 30% of your purse. You're still making an extra, you're still making double it, just minus 30%. That's still more in general. So it's a smart decision. Always miss weight. Always kick your opponent in the balls. Always poke your opponent in the eyes. Grab the fence if you have to. Danny Silva emphatically. I'm going with Danny Silva. And if no one's here, I guess I'll go to the next.
You guys couldn't fucking vamp for a minute while I refilled my
Dan's
tank?
gone. Dan, I asked Dan what he thought about Luana Carolina, and he vanished into thin air on me. And it was just me, Bobby one-man band.
Well, take it back. So did you both break down?
He did not break down Luana Carolina as soon as I asked him. Okay? Now try to listen. Now try to listen this time because I just fucking said this. As soon as I asked him, he vanished into thin air.
I'm gonna be honest. Dan's not the best in terms of tech savvy. Dan will start the show without putting the charger in his laptop. It'll die. So he'll be back any second now. So it's on me then, I guess. Danny Silva, Lucas Almeida. Lucas Almeida. You remember? Didn't he fight Sugar Sean? No, I guess not. Who am I thinking?
No, that was something Almeida.
Thomas
Almeida.
Yeah. Okay. So he's coming off the win against Timothy Kwamba. He lost by knockout to Andre Fili, lost by submission to Pat Sabatini, beat Michael Trezano. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Silva as well. he did miss weight in his last fight, to be noted. But I have a great deal of respect for Josh Quiblau. He beat him, granted, split decision, but I think that he kind of smokes Almeida here, and I like the line at anything sub minus 200. I think it's a solid little brick in your parlay wall here. So I'm going to go with Danny Silva as well. 9-1. Lucas Almeida, too old for this weight class. So I'll side with you and go Danny Silva. We'll wait for Dan for a quick beat. Alex, just checking in with you. As far as like how we build back better for year 5, being strong in year 5. I'm eyeing like we'll do a little foreshadowing. I saw Diego Lopes, who can do anything. Diego Lopes, dream, believe, and make it happen. I believe in this guy like I believe in Christian Bale, like I believe in Emil Hirsch. Ultimately, I think Diego Lopez opening as an underdog against Volkanovski is, I mean, it's free money. And then I think I'm sorry to say, I think you also go Diego Lopez by knockout. But Dan's back, so we'll put a pin in that for a second. A little foreshadowing play. First, Dan, Luetta Carolina or Montana De La Rosa? Don't waste our time. Who do you got?
I got Carolina. Montana De La Rosa, her thing is wrestling, and she's not even all that good at it. And now she's 30. Carolina, she might actually be older, but at this point, I still think Carolina's more athletic, more powerful, and won't be taken down and will win on points.
Okay, so is that show be certified?
If he just took Luana Carolina, I wasn't really listening. I'll be completely honest with you.
Okay, well, we got some comments before we get to the next fight. Third round, Johnson is undefeated in the UFC. I love that. Yeah, I don't want to leave it to the third round, though. He said, you thought Gabby Garcia was out. Listen, no shame there. No shame.
Boy, caray. Now that's a woman. This feels like the favorite.
I don't think Montana's going to decide to wrestle. I don't think it's going to work either way. Carolina about to win. Thank you, Dirty Reg. Elon Musk. I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah. That's fair. I forgot because Dan left. Yeah. Thank you, Freed. We're going live. We're live here from here on out. And the only reason we couldn't go live, I had to text these guys before the show. I said, look, you can't mention any Bryce Mitchell stuff. You can't mention any Sean Strickland. Sometimes you have to do some editing. I have to tell. And the main thing was no physical threats against fighters. Like, for example, saying things like, I want to hit this guy with a brick. I hope this guy dies. Things like that. Sometimes I'm like, this is crossing the line a little bit, or, and then other stuff is like no baseless accusations. Like, this guy is a criminal. This guy is a criminal. He's a child molester, like stuff like that. We have to pull back on those kind of things that we sometimes say, and then I have to go back because I get a little paranoid. I do the show, and I'm like, look, we're a small show. I don't want to have any lawsuits coming my way. We already got threatened with 2 lawsuits, so I don't, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Again, what does it say, guys?
I would take someone down and grind my elbow and fingers into some shin. Yikes, that sounds awful. Or their middle chest. Is that allowed? I don't see how.
The sternum. That's a cop move. So a lot of us here come from backgrounds where our parents are in law enforcement in one degree or another, and the knuckles or the elbow to the sternum. Definitely a pressure point. Definitely something you can.
That's how they send you to school without a bruise.
12-6 to the sternum. But a lot of these guys, they're flexing, they're tensing, the adrenaline's going. I don't know if that would necessarily work.
Luke, you ever give Alex a elbow to the chest and grind it till it pops?
No, but I'm a big. When I was in wrestling, when I used to wrestle in middle school. Actually, this is like more of like an elementary school thing because it really doesn't really work that much in high school. But when you're a little kid. And a lot of these kids, you don't know if they want to be there or not are wrestling. You take that shin when you're in referee's position, at the start of round 2, round 3, you're in referee's position and you get that free opportunity. You dig that shin right into the small of their back. A lot of these kids right there, they'll go belly down as soon as you do that. When you're young, not so much high school, not so much, definitely not any adults, right? But when you're a kid, you don't got back muscles yet, so you dig your
No,
chin
you got to
up,
do
lower
all the
back.
DeSanto moves. That's a DeSanto move. You got to do any DeSanto move you possibly can in wrestling. Wrestling is just trying to make the other guy give up first, because in reality, like, we all know the moves to avoid the other moves. It's just like whose will's gonna break first.
So it's like I just had a
And
son.
mine broke a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a son, and a lot of people, they say, like, oh, like, you know, you ask a lot of fighters this. Do you want your son to do mixed martial arts? And they're like, you know, whatever he wants to do. I'll support him with whatever he wants to do. And I'm like, my son will wrestle. He has to wrestle. He's going to wrestle. And people might say, well, what if he doesn't like it? I'm like, who likes it? I'm like, it sucks. Like, it's not, I'm putting him in it because I know he probably won't like it. You got to do it. But there's also this nerve. I was taught this at a very young age in wrestling. There's a nerve here where if you dig your thumb right in up in here while you got inside control, you know, you're pummeling, you're fighting for inside control. You get that thumb in the nerve, your arm will it's kind of like the ankle thing in the UFC. Your arm will kind of go a little numb. So again, it only kind of works when you're kids, right? But I'll be teaching my son all this stuff. Check the oil, dig the chin, rub the nerve, all this stuff. So Justin said, I heard about the old beginning martial arts. The guy is so weak and trains fingers. Yeah, you know, that's a myth. That's a myth.
You got to read it out loud.
I'm sorry, I can't. I literally can't even see it. So strong they could rip the skin off a finger. How strong? How fast? No, that's a myth, Justin. That's a myth. But anyway, thank you.
Why are you so quick to dismiss it?
It's a myth. But so we move on. Dan Silva, Almeida, what's your thought?
Ooh, is this old man Silva? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Almeida here, just based on age and age alone. To me, they're kind of similar fighters. They're balls to the wall. Just who's gonna throw their big dick down and just get that W? Who's gonna show more violence? I think that's who wins this. But I think Almeida, just being the younger guy, is gonna get this thing.
Older guy. Almeida's 6 years older.
No.
Oh yeah.
Silva?
Yeah, Danny Silva's 28.
Ancient. Oh, I'm thinking of a different Silva. No,
Anderson.
No, not
Dan, you're thinking of Douglas Silva de Andrade in the
yes, that's my guy. I love that guy though.
This is an American Silva.
No. I did. I have my parlay all set up here. I do have Danny Silva. Okay, yes. This makes sense now.
Trophy certified Danny Silva. All right, moving on. Andrea Lee, KGB Lee versus JJ Aldridge.
All right, let me go first. This is my first of three dogs. First of three dogs right here. Why? Because JJ Aldridge is too damn small. And Andrea Lee, for all of her faults, she's a big woman. I think this fight, as many female fights come down to, it's going to be the size, it's going to be the length, okay? I see on Andrea Lee just kind of like octopusing her, like just getting all the limbs around her and making her not be able to go anywhere on the ground. A little old school, early 2000s UFC jiu-jitsu will come into play in this one, I feel. JJ Aldridge, I feel like she gets so much praise. And for what? You know, she's a decent fighter. She's got a nice little 1-2. Southpaw fighter, good footwork. All right. I don't think that's going to get the job done here. I like KGB Lee. And again, I don't want to give her too much props here. It's based on size and size alone. But I think this is the first of three dogs.
Andrea Lee's husband has a swastika and an SS tattoo. Does that change your opinion?
Wait a minute.
Andrea
I said
Lee...
no baseless accusations, Alex. Come on.
It's not. I looked it up. I fact-checked myself. I heard it on The Fighter and the Kid. Shout out to The Fighter and the Kid. Best show ever. I heard it on The Fighter and the Kid. I did my homework. Sure, the episode was from 8 years ago, but I did my homework, okay? Guy's got a tattoo of a swastika and an SS sign. Maybe it was from 4 years ago, but...
Any of size.
Shab knows his stuff. He's never lied. And if you say he lied, he'll hit you with a lawsuit. So I know for sure It's true. And I looked it up. I saw the pictures. He's got 2. I thought he only had 1. He's got 2. That's crazy. And he's her coach. So that's going to be on television on Saturday.
Hey, Petrovsky's got a hammer and sickle. To me, that's just as bad.
Hey, I say either way, it's bad.
Bad either way.
I'm going with JJ Aldridge. Sure, she's a bucket of milk. Sure, she's never impressed me ever. Sure, she's a favorite. But there's just something about her. There's something about this JJ Aldridge. I think she gets it done. I think she comes out. I mean, listen, you want to go off MMA math. As Chael says, it's the only science we have. Mountain of the Roses defeated Jessica or Andrea Lee. But JJ Aldridge, not so much. JJ Aldridge defeated Mountain of the Roses. JJ Aldridge, her losses aren't really even that bad. If you really look at them, Macy Barber, Veronica Hardy, Ariane Lipinski da Silva, that's probably the worst loss she has, and Erin Blanchfield. You know, the rest of them, very, very good fighters. Rachel Ostovich, early in her career. Raquel Pennington, early in her career. Tatiana Suarez on The Ultimate Fighter. She's got good losses. She's got some decent wins. She beat Jillian Robertson. Does that even sound possible to you guys? Jillian Robertson? She beat Jillian freaking Robertson. What does Jillian Robertson do to Andrea Lee? Anything she wants is the answer. I'm going with JJ Aldridge. I'm going with JJ Aldridge emphatically.
Yeah, you said it best when you said she's JJ Aldridge, cup of milk. And I'm talking skim milk. You know what I mean? Not even whole milk. JJ Aldridge looks literally like a glass of skim milk. Andrea Lee, you look at her record, she's got 10 losses. But JJ Aldridge has 7 losses. To me, here's what it comes down to. Now, women's MMA makes no goddamn sense. And you kind of expect a girl who's got 5 losses in a row to come out there and get a win and be like, I just worked so hard for this inspirational story, yada, yada, yada. And you kind of expect JJ to phone it in and just blow this, right? Like you expect JJ to fucking blow it. She's 4 years younger.
The real question is, Luke, does Andrea Lee get B-roll, retirement? Does she get all of these things that we've been seeing the lady fighters get, regardless of their stature in the sport?
She fucking better. I mean, if you're gonna give the chick from last week, the panda, killer panda, the fucking what's her name? The panda.
Yeah.
We're gonna give Avia a fucking B-roll. You give Andrea Lee a fucking 13-fight UFC vet. You give her a fucking B-roll. You give her a fucking standing ovation. But the reality is, her losses, right? You look at her losses. She lost to Roxy Medafri. She lost to Lauren Murphy. She lost to Joanne Wood. Joanne called her Wood. I don't care.
All title contenders.
Andrea Lee did beat my baby, Cynthia Calvillo, Miss Perfect Parlay herself, the girl who won me my perfect parlay, unhedged, untrimmed, uncircumcised, Cynthia Calvillo. I'm going with JJ Aldridge as well, but this is a fight that does, again, these are two of the this might as well be Tanner Bozer versus Harry Hunzucker. The other one might as well be Jared Vandera versus
Chase Sherman.
You know what I mean? Like, these are the bottom of the barrel lady fights. It's shameful that they're even. This would be like if you were watching the NBA and all of a sudden they wanted to throw in like not only a WNBA game, but like the teams without the girl. And
they're playing European women's basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's terrible. It's awful, but I'm going with JJ. I agree with you, Alex.
I will say this though. Andrea Lee did beat Veronica Hardy and Mountain of the Roses, but her last loss is to Mountain of the Roses. And when she beat these ladies, it was 6 years ago. It was a long time ago, gents. I know that might come up, but she's past her prime.
It just depends on which of these ladies had a better week, if you know what I mean. Okay. Moving on. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus John Castaneda. I'm going John Castaneda. I don't think I need to explain why. I think he's the better fighter. I think he's younger. I think he's faster. I think he's stronger. I think he's got better strength of schedule and better wins. I'm going with John Castaneda. I don't love the odds, but I will take John Castaneda pretty emphatically. The reach, the age, the strength of schedule, the quality of wins, John Castaneda all day, all night.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with you on this one, as well as appealing as it would be to take Douglas da Silva de Andrade. He's still got some fight left. He makes fights very close, win or lose. He's always in there to the end bell. Great old man fighter, but I just think Sexy Mexi is going to be a little too much for him. Dan, how about yourself?
Yeah, so again, this was the Silva I was originally thinking of. This was the fight I was thinking of. Castaneda is going to get it done. I've always been impressed with this guy, even in the losses. You see something there, and the guy always is moving forward, has cardio for days. That's why they call him Sexy Mexi. He's got that bed cardio, and he's just going to be charging forward. And I think the age is going to catch up to Silva, but that's basically like breaking down the same fight twice in a row. So I'll leave it at that. Let's go with John Castaneda.
So, but Dan, earlier you had picked Silva thinking it was Douglas Silva de Andrade. And
No, you picked against Silva.
Okay. So, we got Dirty Reg saying he's going JJ. Sorry, guys, I'm new to having to even pay attention to this. Yeah.
I'll let that one breathe on its own.
No disagreements here. Phil Lee would try harder against people. Maybe not. Heard it both ways. Lee head looks like a lemon. Fair enough. The race after the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. I think that's in reference to like you have the Kentucky Derby and then you have just like, all right, yeah.
My favorite race is Talladega, I think. If that was your question.
Yeah, I mean it's like you have the Rays versus the Phillies, and then you're just cutting like, hey, real quick before the next inning, we're gonna show an inning from fucking the South Carolina Banana Slugs or whatever the fuck they're called.
I hate those fucking dudes. I hate the Savannah Bananas so much.
Douglas is too nasty. Brazilian Pitbull. He's 39 years old. He's almost 40 years of age. John Castaneda, Sexy Mex, he's a dog. John gonna win by Kanye West. Faster, longer, stronger. I was actually just listening to some Kanye before this podcast started. Let's see what else. Little flashing lights. I was listening to. Anyway, it's not important. I agree. I love Kanye. Anyway, I love Kanye, and I take.
If you can communicate this product, you can make money off the product.
I Wonder. That was the next song I listed. Okay, so we got Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. Now, this is an interesting one. Both fighters 17-6. You're giving Chepe Mariscal minus 420, heavy favorite, plus 320 Ricardo Ramos. Chepe Mariscal 3 years older. Chepe Mariscal 2 inches of height disadvantage, 3 inches of reach disadvantage. After seeing what Ricardo Ramos did to Joshua Kleebau, a fight I thought Kleebau won. But, you get a win, right? Before that, he gets roasted by Arosa. Before that, he gets roasted by Jourdain. In a fight that Arosa said, hey, if Jourdain can guillotine him, I can guillotine him. Because I guillotined Jourdain. So I'm definitely going to get this guy. But, yeah, I don't know. I like Ricardo Ramos here. Call me crazy, but I like Ricardo. I can't really explain why, except, it's more of like it's two things, right? I go by the reverse Who Wants to Be a Millionaire method when it comes to some MMA fights, right? So, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You poll the audience. 80% of the audience is on one side of the answer. It's usually right. But with MMA, it's not, because Dana White says it best. I'm in the business of holy shit moments. I'm in, and the sport goes on, and gambling exists based on big favorites who are riding a lot of hype, not necessarily, rising to the occasion when Vegas has them at an inflated odds, right? So I'm going with Ricardo Ramos. It's a line play. It's a aiming where I think he's going to be play. It's a I think he's getting better, not worse. It's a I think Chepe Mariscal has kind of had a bit of overperformance in some advantageous matchups, right? You get him against Trevor Peek. Blood and guts fucking war, right? At a time when Trevor Peek was undefeated, but at only 8-0 though. But he went fucking life or death with him. Jack Jenkins, big win, but kind of fluky. Arm injury. Morgan Charrier, decent win. But again, Charrier's got 9 losses. He's got more than 9 losses. He's double-digit losses. And it was a split decision. Damon Jackson. We saw what Jim Miller did to motherfucking Damon Jackson. You take him to a unanimous decision? Nah. I'm fading Chepe Mariscal. A guy like Chepe doesn't go on this 5-fight win streak. It's very hard to get a 5-fight win streak. It ends here. It ends with Ricardo Ramos.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take the chalk here. I'm not really going to put too much money on it, obviously, because he's such a large favorite. But I'm going to roll with Chepe. I think Chepe is going to be out there. He's going to get it done by hook or by crook. He is tough as all get out. And Ricardo Ramos is this guy, right, who like always looks amazing in the first minute, 3 minutes of a fight, and then kind of peters off and gets finished in the second or late in the first or later in the third. I got to go with Chepe Mariscal here. Did that guy say he's in the Fight Nerds?
Who's in the Fighting Nerds? NWO, who's in the Fighting Nerds? Because I'm seeing
Probably Ramos.
Team Alpha Male.
Imagine JJ Aldridge is in Fighting Nerds.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Yeah, Ricardo's in the Fighting Nerds. So
wow. I didn't know that. That's big if true.
Kanye is not perfect, but he's a guy I'd like to go fishing with. I'm kidding. No, who would not go fishing with
before all the nitrous,
As long as it's not just me and him on the boat, you know what I mean? Because I know what he's going to be looking for. I've seen how Kanye acts on the boat. You know what I mean?
Listen, Kanye's made some great points, and then he got on the nitrous.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's big. I think Kanye has some bad doctors, and he's got to get off that. He's got a bad dentist. He's got to get off that nitrous.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
That wasn't really relevant. I don't know. But so yeah, Chepe is hard to fade. But here's the thing: he fights hard. But what did Tyson Fury say about Deontay Wilder? If I can't defend against a powerful left hand, a powerful hook, and an overhand right, I don't deserve to be here. Right? At the end of the day, Chepe is a lot less polished. So if Ricardo gets knocked out by Chepe Mariscal, he doesn't deserve to be here. If he can't put the fight where it needs to be, footwork-wise, position-wise, distance-wise, getting on top of him, he doesn't deserve to be here. He got guillotined by Julian Erosa because he shot in for a takedown on Julian Erosa. I think he gets Chepe to the ground. Damn, I still hear those good notes in the cry. So sad he just sang that. I agree, or I disagree. I don't know. So anyway, we move forward. Alex is taking Chepe. I'm taking Ricardo. Dan?
I'm taking Chepe here. Here's what I see. I see him ripping the body of Ricardo Ramos.
You're thinking 120 million bettors on Chepe can't be wrong. You're thinking 120 million people can't.
That's exactly right as well. Again, I'm siding with Vegas here, okay? Vegas says it's a big favorite. That's where I'm putting all my chips. All right. Am I betting it on a single money line? Obviously not. Is it a parlay pillar? I guess so. The value is not there whatsoever, but the pick I think is relevant here. You'll be ripping that body all night long. Ricardo Ramos is going to quit on his stool. That's what I predict. If you want a exact finish prediction.
You got to also think Ricardo knows what he's getting into. It's not like his corner isn't well. It's not like Chepe's style isn't well understood. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to by myself with the gigantic underdog, Ricardo Ramos. All right, next we got Danny Barlow taking on Sam Patterson. And you know what I say about Sam Patterson? His neck is too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a melon on a toothpick over here because his head isn't all that big either. His head's too small, his neck's too long, he's frail of frame. I'm going with Danny Barlow. He's got different muscles. Yeah. He didn't look too impressive in his last bout, but neither did Nikolai Veretennikov. So maybe this is a bad move on such a big favorite. If one of the big favorites is going to lose, I don't think it's Chepe. I think it would be this guy. He definitely did not impress in his last bout, and neither did his opponent in theirs. So I'm going with Danny Barlow. Don't love the line, but this is more of a fade on Sam Patterson than it is because you think about it. Lohan Lionesi, Kiefer Crosby, neither of those guys are very good. Yanel Ashmus, very one-dimensional. Got knocked the F out by him. Go with Danny Barlow, dude.
Yeah, I got to go with Danny Barlow. Don't love the lines. Won't be a parlay pillar, but he's undefeated. I think that if he can, something kind of tells me, look, right, like, do I expect this to happen? No. But do I have to go with, what am I not going to see coming this week, right? It'll be Sam Patterson by submission. And I bet you get plus 600 or better odds on Sam Patterson by submission, right? So I'm leaving this one off. This is a fun fight. Watch it, enjoy it, be entertained. But I'm not looking to live and die by having minus 305 Danny Barlow. Relatively untested, out of Tennessee versus a guy from Team Crossface. Crossface, what's it say? He's going to want to get this fight to the ground like a dog on meat. I think Sam Patterson by submission is a nice prop that you should look into playing. But ultimately, I'm going with Sam Patterson. I'm going to go with Sam Patterson. I like Danny Barlow. I don't like the odds. I don't like the matchup. I'm going with Sam Patterson. I think that he's just a little bit going to approach this fight with a little bit more need to get the win. I think Sam Patterson, decision or submission, he ain't going to knock him out, right? So you get that underdog play with the prop to win by decision or submission. Yeah, I mean, it's a long shot. It's a crazy one, but if I'm going to bet it, that's where I would bet it. I wouldn't go minus 300 on Danny Barlow. Just need to see a little bit more. But this is a fight I want to learn from. I want to gather data from. I want to see, can Sam Patterson take a punch? Can Sam Patterson get a guy to the ground who that's his path to victory? I want to learn from this fight. I don't want to really bet it.
Okay. All right.
You already went, Alex?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to go with Danny Barlow emphatically. 2 straight bean poles in a row going down. Ricardo Ramos and Sam Patterson, the longest neck in the game. I see the same kind of thing. I see a boxer going up against a guy who's like half decent at boxing, has some submission skills. Danny Barlow ain't getting taken down. He ain't getting wrapped up. No submissions coming his way. Again, he'll be ripping it to the body, body, head, and maybe another quit on the stool, if you ask me. Sam Patterson got no chin, and I think that'll be exposed one more time this coming Saturday. So give me the favorite, the justifiable favorite, and Danny Barlow. Hell of a first name, too.
All right. Next up, we've got William Gomes versus Hyder Emil.
Sweet lips.
Oh, yeah. William Gomes is the most handsome man in the entire UFC roster. And I'll put that on anything. I really do believe that. Big William Gomes guy over here. Hyder Emil, really impressive in his last bout. Luke says that the last fight is going to be a data picking up fight. This is going to be some data. This will be where I rate Hyder Emil from here on out, because Hyder Emil, not too many impressive names on the resume, but he really has had some impressive performances. So it's hard to. I'm on Barlow early. I'm thinking of extending the fight a bit. Okay. Yeah, but Hyder Emil, what round does it end? I don't know. I don't even know the Danny Barlow fight. I think Danny Barlow. Yeah, I think Danny Barlow probably gets this one inside of the second round, first round, something in that range. I don't think it favors him to go longer in this fight. Anywho, William Gomes, Hyder Emil. This is a big fight on where Hyder Emil is going to be rated in my book after this. I have a lot of respect for William Gomes. I think he's really good. This is the toughest opponent Hyder has faced. That's why I'm not going to go with Hyder Emil. I'm going to go with William Gomes. If he does end up getting this win, I rate William Gomes pretty high. So I will think of Hyder Emil as a lot more. I mean, say what you want about that split decision with Joe Anderson Burrito. Gomes still got his hand raised. Sure, it was in France. I believe it was in France. And sure, it was a close fight, but I could have scored it for him. I'm not too. I don't have the clearest memory on it, but it was close enough where you could have given it to him. So I'm going with William Gomes. Fought much tougher opponents, has a more dynamic style. We haven't really seen Hyder Emil outside of the first and second round. Got to go with Gomes here, just on his veteranship at a young age. You know, he's got 16 fights at 27, while Hyder Emil is only 10 at 34. So probably due to injuries or something of that nature, but that means you're fragile. Going with William Gomes. Dan, what do you think?
I agree with your pick. I disagree with how you got there. I think you said that Gomes was more dynamic. I think Hyder Emil is more dynamic. But Gomes is he's a tough puzzle to solve. This is a guy who's just jab and move. And for a young fighter like Emil, that could be problematic. So he's going to have to figure out when to go balls to the wall crazy and when to fight a little bit more measured. And I feel like Gomes really capitalizes on that against younger fighters, or against fighters that just don't have the best octagon IQ. So, but I also like what you said about this being a measuring stick fight. We'll see how good Hyder Emil is. You know, I don't think anyone's doubting his skill set, but, you know, how does he employ it, right? Gomes, he's made a career off of making guys look stupid because he just knows how to move in the octagon. He has really good timing, really good range, hits you with the jab, and then he moves. All right, 1 point for me. Hit him with the jab, move, another point for me. Next thing you know, he's won 2 out of 3 rounds, and he got the job done. So I'm going to go with Gomes. I don't know if Emil can figure out that puzzle there. But like you said, we'll find out. And then I'll use that measuring stick from here on out with the Hyder Emil fights.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. Gomes, triple certified Gomes, but you know, I do like Hyder Emil. I think that he's up against it with the age, with the reach, with the height. I think this fight could look similar to Yusuf Zalal versus Calvin Kattar, right? I think I see Gomis kind of skating around the outside, landing good strikes. I think Haider Emil has his moments, but if he can't capitalize on those moments, I see a decision from Gomis. Again, it's a data gathering fight. It's a fight I don't really want to. I look at it as a great test for Gomis and a great opportunity for Haider Emil to extend his undefeated record against a quality opponent. I think, the clock's up against Haider Emil in a weight class at, 145. He's a little old for the weight class, but he doesn't look shot war torn. I think his lack of fights is benefiting him here, but ultimately, I'm saying Gomis, but my brain is kind of like you're making a mistake. But I'll tentatively trophy certify William Gomis with the idea that this is a data gathering fight and it's not a parlay pillar by any means. Something that I'm gonna really hope to learn more from, and I just can kind of see this fight. I don't want to be. I don't want to be watching Haider Emil kind of like fade in with some big shots, miss, Gomis skater on the outside, and me sitting there constantly hoping for 3 rounds that Haider catches him. I think Gomis is technically savvy enough to avoid the big shots and to land leg kicks, body kicks, knees up the middle, pivot off to the side, land some shots here and there, and out volume, out point him to a decision. So give me Amis. Some folks in the chat are saying, Emil more of a finisher. Got to take a shot with that. I agree. And I think if you're going to go with Emil, he's a big underdog. You might as well take him, at least decision or knockout. Add a little bit of prop action in there and get a little bit of better juice. But for now, we'll triple certify Gomis, and that'll be that. So moving on, Austin Lane, 205 to heavyweight matchup. Heavyweight matchup, Austin Lane versus newcomer Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto coming off the Contender Series with a knockout of undefeated at the time, Lucas Camacho, 4 months ago. Austin Lane, he really upset the apple cart for a lot of people with his decision win against Rebellious Despanje. Austin Lane, a football player. Austin Lane, not like a pedigreed wrestler, but kind of proved that Despanje is very limited in his skill set. Was able to get him down, was able to get a decision win. I personally took Austin Lane in Jacksonville against Justin Taffa the first time, where he won via unintentional eye poke. If we're going to shame Henry Cejudo, we're going to shame Justin Taffa. Justin Taffa, both the Taffa brothers, bitches, honestly, like crybaby bitches, constantly crying. On that night, I think Lane beats him. They rematch 2 months later, Taffa knocks him out. But ultimately, it's about the night. It's about, I think that was his night, and he ended up having to sort of replay the hand, and he ended up coming up short. Got knocked out by Jonathan Deniz, but rebounded 5 months later and got a decision win against a really scary guy with a similar skill set to some of the guys he had lost to in the past. But he's 37 years old, 11 years older. He is not Alonzo Benefield. He is not going to be able to get the better of Mario Pinto here. So I'm going to take Mario Pinto, and just based on, I think momentum, I think Pinto probably gets a knockout here too.
Hold on a sec. My room is shaking. I need to figure out what that is about. Real quick.
Little earthquake.
No shaking on my end. We live 15 minutes away, so whatever. I'm gonna go with Pinto.
Maybe he's on a fault line. He might be on a fault line.
The old fault line.
Faulty line.
Oh, do you think that is up correct? Oh, yeah. I don't see Austin Lane being a plus 300 dog that comes through twice in a row. I'm gonna go with Pinto Beans here. I think that Austin Lane gets chin checked once again, as he's made a career out of doing. Not getting a win bonus this weekend, bud. Sorry about it. But, yeah, who's been a fan of Austin Lane here? Is he athletic?
He's got all those concussions from football, bringing him into the UFC. Not a good move.
No, I mean, I think he's fast. I think he's dynamic, but I don't think he really necessarily knows what he's doing in there. What flag is that?
That would be the Portuguese flag, and that would be Pinto that he is repping.
Oh, okay. So somewhat Brazilian. No. Yes. Anyway, we're going to go with Pinto.
All right. We'll wait to see what Alex has to say. But in the meantime, let's get into the next fight. Nasrat Hapkras versus Esteban Ribovic. Esteban Ribovic, I think, you got to think. He was a huge underdog against Daniel Zaluber. Comes in, wins a split decision. Really great fight, I believe, at the Sphere. A fight that I believe you called, Dan. You picked him in that fight. Now you're getting an absolute opposite line, minus 265. He's a year younger than Nasrat Hapkras, who's on a 4-fight win streak. Hapkras does leave something to be desired in there. Bit of a decision guy, but has great coaching and great fundamental kind of strategy with Faraz Zahabi, Tressor Jim behind him. It's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. Part of me wants to go with the dog here in Nasrat Hapkras. I think that he's a tough puzzle to solve. I think Ribovic is, coming off a lot of solid success. Knocked out Terrence McKinney, beat Daniel Zaluber by split decision in a fight where he's a pretty big dog. But I don't know. I'm leaning Hapkras, if you ask me.
Alex, how's the
Earthquake.
I have no idea, dude. My room's still shaking. I just, I think it might just be an anomaly. I don't know.
Maybe you're shaking and the room is still.
Yeah, I think it might be too much Magic Mind or Happy Hippo. I'm bugging out. Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. Really, no opinion. Could care less. Don't want to see it. Austin Lane's 37 years old. I think that he could find a way into winning this after seeing him beat Despange. Because what does this guy know? What does this Pinto guy know? He's been knocking guys out, I believe.
But he's not a pure striker like Despange.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with Pinto just because if, in my heart of hearts, do I think Austin Lane will win? No, but he surprises me sometimes. I'm going to go with Pinto. The glass shoe has to fall off eventually. If Justin Toff is knocking you out, this guy can too.
Pinto will be Trophy certified. Next, we have Hapkras versus Ribovic. I took Hapkras. Dan was making his pick as you joined. So what do you guys think?
It's a tough one to call here because I definitely don't want like Ribovic can obviously knock him out. Do I want to see Asprat and Askrat just ride him out the entire fight? Could happen. Man. I'll go with Hapkras as well.
Yeah, Justin. Austin Lane should be doing security for Jack Doherty.
Oh yeah.
Or the Bop House.
Dan, what do you think?
Gonna go with my boy Ribovic here. Way more nasty, way more deadly in there than Nasrat. I mean, has Nasrat finished anybody ever? I don't think so. That guy's a decision machine. You ain't going all 15 minutes with my boy Ribovic. Just ask Terrence McKinney. This guy has extreme finishing power. He's smooth. He's fast. He has high octagon IQ. I think this guy is a title contender. in the next 2 years. And I think Nazareth is just a spoke on the wheel on the way to that title shot.
So you guys are both going with Rivovich?
Hell yeah.
No, I'm going with Hack Pressed.
All right. I'm going with Hapgrass too. I'm going with
You guys are
Hapgrass too.
smoking something, bro. What are you talking about? Rivovich is the man. Nazareth has been a disappointment for years.
Well, let me ask you this, Dan. You said 300 dogs usually win. How many you have so far?
I got 1. I got 2 coming up.
You got Hapgrass as a dog, or Rivovich, or sorry, you got who? Who's your one?
Andrea Lee, but I'm thinking about switching.
Lady fights don't count.
All right, then I don't have any then.
Okay. Especially ones that are definitely going to lose, like Andrea Lee. All right. So next, we got the co-main event of the evening. And you know it's a shitty card when this is your co-main event. But, I mean, you know, Manel Kape is a star. He's star boy. You know, listen, I will watch any UFC card. So it really doesn't make a damn bit of difference what the card is, right? Can I say that forever? No, I can't say that will be the case forever. But as far as, like, you know, this card, it's like I'm going to watch. I'm going to be excited for it. I'm going to show up. Like, I love MMA. I love the UFC. I love betting on it. So this is where we're at. Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. And, you know, I used to joke with Alex. I said, I'm going to go into the UFC. They're going to call me Lukey no contest. And I'm going to just find a way to get my opponent disqualified every time. Or get me disqualified every time. So, Brundage, you're stealing everything I worked for. You know, he's got disqualification losses, no contest losses, all from the same kind of thing, getting hit in the back of the head. If anyone's going to do the damn same thing, it's going to be Julian Marquez. So I have half mind to say this fight's going to decision or disqualification or no contest. Marquez is going to hit him in the back of the head. He's going to do what he does, keep the gimmick going. But no, I actually think this is a good matchup for Cody Brundage. I trust in his coach, Mark Montoya, Factory X Muay Thai. This is my most confident pick of the card as far as like where underdog value meets you know, bettability and who I believe is going to win. I'm taking Cody Brundage.
That's market equilibrium right there, baby.
Yeah. I think people hate this guy. I think that I think people fucking hate this guy. I think that they hate that he's ruined so many of their parlays. I mean, I had what's his name? The coach of Robert Whittaker. What's his name?
I don't even know.
I had Jacob Malkoon. I had Jacob Malkoon emphatically against Brundage. I thought if the fight should have been a clear no contest. I mean, if the Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight was a no contest, why the fuck wasn't that one a no contest? You telling me Malkoon purposely hit him in the back of the head? Like, it was a grappling transitional situation. He hadn't been warned. Like, I don't know why one was a no contest and one was a disqualification. But I'm taking Cody Brundage. 4 years younger, stacks up well, better body type, better build, muscles for go, not for show. Great camp, great team, great coach. Going Brundage, 81% of Tapology agrees with me despite his plus 145 underdog status. I'm going with Cody Brundage, and I think he wins. You got a guy coming off 3 back-to-back knockout losses over the last 2 years. I mean, I'm going with Cody Brundage here. I think he Russell fucks him, grapple fucks him, possibly submits him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cody Brundage too. Julian Marquez was COVID sweetheart that we had for a little bit. You know, wanted Miley Cyrus to be his Valentine.
That's when he peaked.
Everybody ran with it. They loved it. Hasn't won a fight since. I'm gonna go with Cody Brundage as well. Have not been impressed with Julian Marquez whatsoever in the past few years. And I just saw He fought Matt Hamill in like 2016. Matt Hamill's 48 years of age. 9 years ago is still not long enough ago to have fought Matt Hamill. He's hearing impaired, man.
Not anymore.
He's cured.
You want to cry? Watch the video of Matt Hamill talking about how he heard his mother's voice, his children's voices for the first time using a technology implant. It's beautiful. And,
Michael Bisping used to say that he didn't think he was deaf ever.
He's clearly deaf. He went to Immaculata University, a school for the all deaf.
Yeah.
Or what's it called? Immaculata? No, not Immaculata. He went to...
not my words.
I know what you're thinking, Luke. Damn it.
Not Immaculata. He went to... Well, this says Purdue. So
he wrestled at Purdue, but I think you're talking about like a high school for the deaf.
No. School for
he wrestled at
Scouting.
Purdue.
Gallaudet. I'm thinking of Gallaudet.
Gallaudet.
Yeah, he wrestled at Purdue. There's a whole movie about it. But I digress. I can't sit here and I can't have Matt Hamill being my hill to die on. Sorry. Although the only person to beat John Jones, greatness. Cody Brundage, much like
and
Matt
the fact
Hamill.
that they want to get that overturned. Sooner overturn Malkoon.
Definitely a lot less. I don't know. It's all lame. You should just be able to do whatever in a fight. Cody Brundage. I don't know how. I don't know why, but he's going to get it done.
Triple B certified the underdog, Cody Brundage, puts him in that golden criteria of Triple B certified underdogs. And I'm going big. Here's my parlay. I'll let you guys in on this. It's Brundage, Hooker, Lopes. Brundage, Hooker, Lopes. $500 fucking dollars.
Hooker's out.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Broke his hand. Jerking it.
Which hand?
he's a ghost rider left.
He said, as long as I have my left hand, I can beat anybody. That's what he said. So if it's his right hand, I don't want to hear it.
It is what it is. He's out.
Fuck off. Now I
That's
got to
no
go Ankalaev or Pereira. Man.
That's a tough cookie to crack, dude. Alex Pierre is here, there, and everywhere except for the gym right now. So it's I don't want to pick Ankalaev, but everything is telling me to pick Ankalaev. Every single thing is telling me. Why do I think Alex Pierre is different?
Dirty Reg. Justin got knocked out by Max fucking Holloway and also outstruck by him for 5 straight rounds. Who's a better striker, Max Holloway or Dan Hooker?
Max Holloway.
No. Wrong.
Fair enough. Max Holloway would knock out what's his face too, Dan
Who
Hooker.
wins in a fight, Max Holloway or Dan Hooker?
Max Holloway, I just said he would knock him out.
Wrong.
Dustin Poirier knocked out fucking Dan Hooker, Luke.
Yeah, dude, Dan Hooker, if not for that bell, would have got knocked out. Dustin Poirier would have got knocked out in round 2 against Hooker. Look, maybe it did save my parlay. Maybe you guys are right. I mean, I don't know. I kind of think that Justin got absolutely fucking beat up, broke nose, and slept by Max Holloway, a featherweight. What's big boy tattooed up Dan Hooker gonna fucking do him? Dan Hooker was gonna put shin.
Padded Hooker.
Dan Hooker was gonna put shin to fucking dome, and he was gonna sleep Justin Gaethje. I swear on everything. I would have bet everything on that. Yeah, thank you. Hooker was making the great. Justin Gaethje is doing dabs and golfing.
Yes, you are correct.
Colby Covington mindset. He has Ali Abdelaziz as his manager. He's been paid way too much. He got. Let me make this very clear for everybody. Justin Gaethje got choked to sleep after tapping by Khabib Nurmagomedov in front of his mom and dad with Death Before Dishonor tattooed on his fucking ribcage. He got choked to sleep with Dagestani nuts dragged across his mouth and fucking face. After tapping, by the way, he tapped cowardly and then still went to sleep. And then Khabib dragged his nuts across his fucking face. Okay? He had Death Before Dishonor tattooed on himself, and he got teabagged by a Dagestani in front of his mom and his dad. So he dishonored them by tapping, and then he dishonored them further by Khabib dragging those stinky nuts across his face. Let's be real. Justin Gaethje was going out there stiff. He's a wrestler, guys. Justin Gaethje trains with Trevor the Sewing Machine Whitman, who's out here making gloves and getting his fighters knocked out every which way. Trevor Whitman got Kamaru Usman knocked out by Leon Edwards. Trevor Whitman got Max Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje. Trevor Whitman gets every single one of his fucking fighters.
Rose Namajunas slammed on her head.
Dumped on her fucking shit.
And
Trevor
smiled
Whitman,
every single one of the times. Like, couldn't be happier to see it. Everybody's like, oh, protect Trevor Whitman at all costs. I love that he's so happy for the other guy, even after his guy wins. That's weird. That's super fucking weird. You shouldn't be happy for your fighter getting knocked the fuck out, spark, in front of the whole world, losing their title.
Trevor Whitman is inept. He's He's incorrigible. His fighters are unconscious. Trevor Whitman is too busy on that damn sewing machine, smiling after his fucking fighter gets fucking brain damage. Happy for the other fucking fighter. Look, I'm not putting Hooker and Khabib in the same breath. I'm saying Justin Gaethje's a hypocrite. He is out here talking about, this and that, and he fucking... Hooker and Khabib, or at least, hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Rico. All right, so look, you're welcome for the live show. Thank you guys for joining us. We're about to break down the main event. I'm so disappointed that Hooker is out of that fight. I know he would have connected shin to dome, knocked Justin Gaethje out cold. Justin Gaethje's literally...
He couldn't even make it to the fight. What are you talking about? You got hurt before it even happened. Dustin Poirier just won by, or not Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje just won. When will Alex address the allegations? I will never address the allegations. Maybe put them out there. Make me make them come to light, but I'll never admit it. I'll never even address it. So don't even bother. Dustin Gaethje is one more hit away from not being able to really eat food anymore. So everything's coming through a straw. I kind of agree with you, but I don't know. The allegations really threw me off, man.
Well, look, listen, I'm going to have to put Rico in timeout because this is an NSFW comments. So yeah. My friend Rico texted me. I'm like, listen, I'm busy. I'm doing the show live. I was like, but hey, chat in. Biggest mistake I ever made. So Rico's going in timeout. Thank you, Rico, for your contribution. Anyway, this isn't what's that game we all play? This isn't
Quiplash.
This isn't Quiplash, Rico. This isn't Quiplash. Okay. So if you got some fight picks, if you got some breaking news, chat in, but you're going in timeout. I'm putting the user.
Is this our friend Rico?
Oh yeah, it's your friend Rico. and listen, Rico, we were just talking about how Dan, as the loser of your fantasy football league, is only going to wax his back, and I think that's bullshit. I mean, you got many tattoos on your ass as a result of losing fantasy football.
All voluntary.
Dan, I think Dan should have to wax from eyebrows down. You should have to wax both eyebrows, beard, chest,
Christ look,
legs, toes. I want Dan looking complete. I want him to look like a naked mole rat. Okay.
I could cloth the world if that were the case.
I don't even know how to put him out of timeout. But we'll see how long the timeout works. This is a new feature. We're testing it out. So thank you all for joining us. We're about to break down the main event. Triple certify Cody Brundage, which I'm very happy that these guys are aligned with me here. Like I said, I'm going big. I'm going big money on Cody Brundage. I'm going to do 2 bets this week. I'm going to do my perfect parlay and Cody Brundage. And I'm perfectly prepared to be disappointed. You know what I mean? But especially co-main event of the evening, no wiggle room, nothing to fucking worm my way out of here. But okay, we got the main event of the evening. Manel Kape, Starboy, our boy, one of my favorite fucking fighters. It's like Ilya Topuria, Manel Kape, one of my favorite fighters in the entire UFC. Taking on Asu Almabayev. Asu Almabayev 21-2. This feels to me like Muhammad Makayev versus Manel Kape, right? Without the beef, but ultimately you got kind of a decision machine here with the path to victory centered around grappling, taking on a knockout artist, a flashy striker who really gets going when he finds his flow state. Against Bruno Silva 2 months ago. You remember this fight. It was on the Buckley versus Covington card. I stood up out of my chair. I was so happy. I had Manel Kape by knockout. He takes 3 or 4 fucking groin strikes by Silva, kicked in the nuts. The ref not taking a point away. Finally, Manel Kape just threw the fouls, threw the nut shots, grits it out, knocks Silva the fuck out in round 3. Amazing moment. Silva tries to protest that he kneed him in the head or something on the ground, or he poked him in the eye. Fuck all that shit. You fouled him 3 times. It's even Stevens. He put Silva away, knocked him the fuck out. Loved every second of it. And wish he got a few more strikes than Silva on the ground. Wish he kicked him in the nuts after he was knocked out. So he woke up with his nuts in his throat. But I'm going with Manel Kape here. However, I do think the UFC, give us Kape versus Kai Kara France. Give us fights that are going to be fun to watch. This is one of those fights where it's either going to be super fun to watch, Manel Kape knocks him out, and it's a big uphill battle for Kape. I mean, this is an unbettable fight for me. I can't bet Manel Kape at minus 230. What's he going to be by knockout? Plus 130? This is unbettable. It takes all the fun out of it. He's fighting a guy who is relatively unblemished in his career. The smart money's on fucking Almabayev, guys. I mean, it's plus 185. I'll put Manel Kape at the top of all my parlays and I'll hedge. I mean, I can't bet with my heart here. I can't go, oh, Manel Kape's going to lose and I'm going to lose money. No way. I'm not leaving it all up to Kape here in this fight. I love the way he fights. I love his style, but ultimately we have to know that it's in the apex. He's not going to have that crowd to feed off of like he did back in December. He's not going to have all of the mana to harness and just fucking knock this guy out. But I think Manel Kape could, in theory, come out and look like a minus 500 favorite. I think he could, on the feet, make this look like easy work. But ultimately, it's a fight that I'm scared to really leave my bankroll on the line with. I just want Manel Kape to win. I hope that I make my money. I'm in and out before this fight takes place, and I can just watch this fight from a fan perspective and enjoy it. So Manel Kape is my pick. I love Manel Kape, but
Not me. I'm going with Azul Almabayev. I mean, he's been scheduled for this evening twice with 2 different people. Manel Kape was just added I think 2 weeks ago after Steve Erceg got they made Steve Erceg go to Mexico. Yeah, give me Azul Almabayev. I just think he is going to get this fight to the ground and might end up getting even a submission on Kape. And haven't really have we seen Kape in a 5-round fight before? And go all 5 rounds? Never.
No.
Doubt it.
So I'd like to see how it goes. You can sit in that flow state for a while, I'm sure, but when you're defending takedowns repeatedly, it's going to be tough. And Azul Almabayev has 9 wins by submission. So I think he's definitely capable. It's definitely possible. And he's gonna be attached to him like white on rice. So
No, I don't think he submits him. If Almabayev wins, it's by decision, I think.
I would agree. I would tend to lean that way as well. But Manel Kape has been finished by submission. It's the only way he's been finished. He's been finished twice by submission, and I don't think it was by people who are on the same caliber. So I'm going to go with Almabayev here. Unlike some of the other Dagestanis, he's actually got like a wealth of experience and isn't just, I mean, he's not Dagestani. I don't know why I said that. He's not just getting pushed to the front because he's got a name that ends in a V. So I'm going with Azu Almabayev. I don't want to. I love Manel Kape, but I just think he's got more ways to win this.
Manel Kape's last fight, he lost to a guy that got caught by the UFC out of there. We're going to go with Almabayev. He's going to get the job done. I agree with Luke. He won't get the submission. He won't get the knockout. It will be by decision. It will be boring, but it will be decisive. I'm going to give him 4 out of 5 rounds, if not a clean sweep. I don't trust Kape's gas tank. I don't trust him in a 5-round fight. I don't trust his octagon IQ. I don't trust his volume. Most of his wins are coming from like a flying knee knockout, but a lot of the times, like, he doesn't put combinations together, at least not long extended ones throughout an entire round. And I don't trust his wrestling defense. I think he's going to be on his back foot the whole time. I think he's going to tire out by the middle of the second round, if not beginning of third. And I think this is dog shot number 3. I'm really surprised, actually, that it's lined the way it is. Where are we at with it now? We have Almabayev at plus 180. I mean, shoot, man, if you're not doing parlays, you're just doing single money lines. That's good value right there. I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to have it. I mean, I hate having dogs at the head of my ticket, but I'm going to ride this one out, man. I have no faith in Kape whatsoever. So give me Azu Almabayev. Get this thing done. Sorry, Justin. I know Kape's your boy, your fellow countryman, I'm assuming, but he's going down. Alex, you're muted.
Luke, you sitting over there watching TikTok with your mic on?
No. I was checking the score. I was checking the score of a hockey game real quick. Sorry about that.
I wonder why you would ever care about something.
The national anthem.
Wonder why you'd ever care about that.
Let's go through our full picks top to bottom. Guys, thank you for joining the show. We really appreciate it, and it was fun. We'll be doing every show live from here on out. So come back.
It was a rousing success for our first shot at it. I mean, how many people hopped in there? Like 10?
We had a good amount of chats. I appreciate it. And Justin,
American, bro.
Everybody else, thank you. We really appreciate it. Had a good time, and we'll be doing it more often. So went well. And let's do the full picks top to bottom.
All right. If you are rolling with me, you would be going with Ramazakabek, Temirov, Luana Carolina, Danny Silva, JJ Aldridge, John Castaneda, Chepe Mariscal, Danny Barlow, William Gomes, Mario Pinto, Nasserat Hakparast, Cody Brundage, and Azu Almabayev. Dan, that is on your 3-dog method. I got 3 dogs, 3 dogs only. I'm ending the night on 3 dogs.
Alex, your 3 dogs are Azu Almabayev, Cody Brundage, and
Nasserat Hakparast. I'm saying that, then I know that's not happening.
Find
that's
another
one.
dog.
Yeah, I really ought to. I should take one of the lady dogs. What do they call those?
All right, my picks. We are going with Charles Johnson, Luana Carolina. You could go Mark of the Roses for your dog there. We got Danny Silva, Andrea KGB Lee. Don't let her husband's sins affect her. We got John Castaneda, Chepe Mariscal, Danny Barlow, William Gomis, Mario Pinto, Mario Puzo. We got Esteban Ribovic. We got Cody Brundage and Asu Almabayev. Last two doggies. Ho, 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 ho. Getting it done.
Okay, if you're going with me, you're rolling with Charles Johnson, Luana Carolina, Danny Silva, JJ Aldrich, John Castaneda, Ricardo Ramos, Sam Patterson, William Gomis, Mario Pinto, Nazareth Hopgrass, Cody Brundage, and Manel Kape. The Trophy certified picks are going to be Brundage, Pinto, Gomis, John Castaneda, Danny Silva, Luana Carolina. And I guess my 3 underdogs are going to be, slightly, plus 100 Charles Johnson. And then from there, I guess we got, as far as underdogs go, Ricardo Ramos, Sam Patterson, and Nazareth Hopcross and Cody Brundage. So 4 dogs for me. We got ourselves I believe it's a 12-fight card. Yeah, 12 fights. I know Classico. And
I've already got my parlay made. I've already got it. This is gonna win it. Azu Amabayev, William Gomis, Danny Barlow, John Castaneda, Danny Silva, and I'm taking Temerov off that. And it's a humble plus 1,000, but I think I'm gonna put $100 on that. I did have the guy fighting Charles Johnson on there, but unproven. This parlay will not lose.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Dirty Reg. Get in that Discord. Get in the Patreon if you want to see the open bets sheet, the bets that we place every week. And I'm having a good time. I came into this show thinking Cody Brundage is the only confident play I have. I now have a lot more of a flushed out kind of strategy going in. I love that play, Alex. I'm probably going to tell you there. And let's fucking get it, guys. Let's go 0 to 100 real quick. Let's get into a position where we can go big for the next few weeks, months, and get into year 6 with a big profit from this year.
You all hand you checks. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, this isn't the last card of the season. There's one more after this.
Oh, we have so many more cards after this. What do you mean?
I thought it was May
9th.
Season.
May 9th.
May 9th. I always get my M's mixed up.
That's fair. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We love you, and we'll be in the Discord this weekend for the fights, and get into the Patreon if you want to see the open bet sheet. I keep mine very spotless, very clean. Betting live, putting the live plays I have in there. So we love you. Thank you very much. And with that, for Danny, for Alex, we are out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.